This is Defying Gravity from the Wicked musical. This song is really difficult in rhythm, and there's a lot of freedom in parts. So the way that I want you to learn this is with the rhythm the way it's written in the sheet music, and then you can take the freedom to make it more like the way it really sounds. But it's a good starting point to be able to follow the rhythm that's there. So we're going to take this from the beginning, and we're just going to have kind of a slow, steady beat to start. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we're just going to go one phrase at a time. Okay, so the first part here is on the second line. That's after the piano introduction. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So you should be able to play that and count it, if not out loud, at least in your head. Okay? All right, the next phrase. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. All right? So here's that one without me counting out loud. 1. Next phrase. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. So that one's a little longer. Here's that one again, without counting. So 1. Next phrase. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. And again, without me counting out loud. 1. All right, we're on to the next phrase, which is on the next line. This is the fourth line down. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Okay, and the same phrase without counting out loud. 1. I'm doing it this way so that you can practice playing along, or at least just hearing it, both with the counting and without, and then you should be able to do that as well. You can pause the video on each phrase and practice it. Okay, here's the last phrase here before we get into the allegro section. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And that leads right into the allegro. Here's that one without counting. 1. All right, we're going to go a little faster here in this next section. Let's go about 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's the allegro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's the first part of that. I thought I would count it out loud, and then I realized as I started playing, maybe not. I'm going to do a little slower once so I can count it out loud so you can hear how it's counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3. I'll start by doing it a little bit slower and count it, and then I'll do it faster without. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Okay. Now I'll play that a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All right, now let's just go on after the second ending. So it's slower again. We'll go a little bit slower tempo here. One phrase at a time, counting first. So one thing to know is the key has changed. So now we have a B flat in our key signature. So our first note here will be an F natural, low 2. So let's go back to this tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2. Okay. All right, and then from the 8th rest, 3 and 4 and I guess I should have included that. Okay, let's put those two measures together. Let's see, that wasn't very good. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and okay. All right, now on to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 and So when you have triplets, you count whatever the beat is and for the second and third. So it'd be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Now going from those triplets at the end of that line to the next line, which is just 8th notes. Let me do that transition once. So it's 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and plus there's a ritardando there on those 8 notes, so make it even a little bit slower. All right, now where it says freely, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's see. So there's that, just that 3/4 measure. I would recommend this fingering. So you'll start in first position, shift to your first finger on the 3rd C. That way you can play the B flat on the D string and not have to go across the D string to get to the A string. And your half steps between the A flat and the G, your second finger and your first finger. Back from the freely part now. All right, turn page. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's going to lead back into the faster allegro tempo and another key change. Now we are no longer going to use B flat. So here's this next part. Let me count you off. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry. All right. Rhythmically, it's kind of the same thing. I'll do it once slow just so you can hear it with the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2. Let me do that again. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would highly encourage you to count this out loud while you're playing. Go as slow as you need to in order to do that. For sure, be sure you can count it in your head. All right, and then we have 3 measures of rest, and we have another key change. So this is our, what is this, our third key change now? So we have 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Again, without counting out loud. 1. All right, next part. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. And without counting out loud. 1. On to the next phrase, which is the next line. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Yeah. And 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Oh, sorry, I'm messing this up. Let me do this again. Start of this line again. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. Okay, and again, one more time on that line without counting out loud. So 1. Still didn't do that right at the end. Let me do that last measure of the line. So it's up, down, up. So I'm going to start up on the B. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. Without counting out loud. All right. Since I messed it up, I'll do that whole line one more time. 1. Again, the rhythm is tricky in this, so you do want to make sure that you're taking it slow enough that you understand the rhythm before you start putting in the rubato. Okay, here we go. This is the next measure, the a tempo. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And without counting. Next phrase. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. And without counting. 1. All right, on to the next line. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Without counting, same line. 1. Oh, I didn't do it right. I'll try it again. 1. All right. Next part, this is back to the melody again, just a little variation to this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Without counting now. 1. next phrase. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2. I probably could have stopped, but it didn't seem like a good place to stop, so I just kept going there. That one's a bit longer. Let me do that one now without counting. 1. Okay, here's the pickup to the next measure. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That one's easy rhythmically, just quarter notes. All right, next one. Same thing, pretty easy there. Next one. Fermata on that E. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And right there at the end, after the D, the first D, the one at the beginning of that line, I would go to third position, 1 on the D, 3 on the F sharp, 2 on the E. Instead of going to the E string for just a note or two. So we didn't talk a lot about the fingerings or the notes themselves. I would just keep it simple, keep it in first position. You have your mind is occupied with the rhythm. So I would just do that. There was that one place at the end of the first page in the 3/4 measure where I would recommend being in third position there. There are a couple of other places where you could go into third position, but it's just really, I didn't see anything that looked all that necessary, but I would do the one there at the very end as well. So, and then the other task will be to, if you're going to play this with the track, is lining it up with that. And I haven't heard the track, so I'm not sure how easy or difficult that will be, but I have a hunch it might be a little bit tricky. So that would be a good thing to begin doing once you've learned how to count the rhythms through and you have a good handle on what your notes are.